Martin, as a representative of the Free Market Foundation, what are your thoughts on how this act aligns with the principle of a free market and the protection of private property? And how do you define just and equitable compensation? And how does the act provide clarity on when null compensation might be applied?
Yeah, thanks, Neil. So I think it's important to start with, yes, the Constitution does require land reform. And I think anyone who takes property rights as a kind of a moral imperative seriously understands that when someone has taken something from you, you must get it back. And the Constitution recognizes that reality. It's restitution. Re vindicatio is an old Roman law principle that kind of transcends political dispensations. So the Constitution does recognize the need for land reform. And the Constitution at the same time protects private property rights. And there are some people in our politics who think that this is a tension in our Constitution or a contradiction even in our Constitution, which is simply, as I said, not the case. You can do both. There are ways to do both in a way that does not harm investor sentiment, that does not harm the interests of property owners. And long story short, the way you do that is when you do, as government, expropriate property for a public purpose. And I don't actually think it's that important what that public purpose is. It is important, but it could be anything. The key thing is you need to pay the owner compensation. South Africa, that standard is called just and equitable. Lots of people want to read things into that. I don't know why, but for me, at least, it's clear that since we're interpreting a Bill of Rights, a just and equitable standard as far as property owners, the persons whose rights are being protected, must start at market value. You have to start at market value of the property, and then you should probably go up. You must probably go up, not down. The idea has been that the other factors listed in the Constitution must bring you down from market value, which to me seems to be a very counter-constitutional way of reading a Bill of Rights. But yes, ultimately, the new act does not really help us in that regard. It does create this impression of going down from market value, not just going down from market value, but going down all the way to nothing, to zero, to without compensation. And that is the very controversial aspect about no compensation.